Hello guys, what is up? It's King Christo here, and today I bring you a $250 back-to-school PC build guide. This PC build guide is made for people who are going back to school and need a quick solution for doing simple tasks like typing Word documents and doing research for class, and just want something to get the job done. Now keep in mind that this is a very budget PC, not meant for gaming, so I didn't include a graphics card since that isn't needed for simple schoolwork. Now before I get into the video, I'd like to remind everyone that if they have any questions or concerns, the link to my Discord server will be down below. We have some really good conversations, and it's a really good way to become part of the community. Also, my Patreon is also down below if you're feeling generous and would like to donate. All donations go to me making an awesome editing PC. For the processor in this build, I chose the Intel Pentium G4400. This is a 2-core, 4-thread CPU clocked at 3.3 GHz. It costs just $50 currently and runs off the Skylake architecture as well. I've also decided to use the Intel stock cooler for this build. Now I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about why I didn't include the Pentium G4560, which runs off the most current Kaby Lake, and here's why. The G4560 needs a motherboard with the B250 chipset, which costs much more than the one in this build. Speaking of the motherboard, I chose the MSI H110 Pro VD. This motherboard hosts all the basic connections we need and just costs $45. It has a DVI out to use for connecting monitors, but no HDMI, so keep that in mind when deciding on a monitor. It also supports our G4400 with no BIOS update required. An 8GB stick of Team Elite would service just fine. It costs just $60 and actually has a heat spreader. This means it doesn't look like crap and won't run into overheating issues. It runs at a speed of 2133 MHz and has a CAS latency of 16, which is perfectly fine for the price. Finally, 8GB of RAM is definitely enough to do light multitasking, such as typing up Word documents while having multiple research windows open. To store everything, I chose a 320GB Barracuda hard drive. It runs at a speed of 7200 RPM and has 16 MB of cache, which is pretty good for just $30. I know 320GB isn't too much space for games, but for simply storing Word documents, assignments, and other school projects, 320GB will do just fine. For just $30, the black or white BitPhoenix Nova does just about everything we need it to. Since none of the parts in this build are quite the prettiest, I chose the version without a window to cover the insides. Needless to say, the outside actually looks pretty nice and has pretty good I/O, which consists of 2 USB ports, power and reset buttons, audio jacks, and notification LEDs. For just another $30, the 450-watt EVGA power supply completes this build. It is rated at 80+ bronze, which is pretty decent, meaning the PSU is fairly efficient. The cables in this PSU are non-modular and have tons of ketchup and mustard, but as stated earlier, the case has no windows, so this wouldn't matter anyways. Also, keep in mind that this is powerful enough if later on you would like to install a graphics card. So that was the build, which would cost around $250 and would satisfy most, if not all, of your educational needs. Before I end the video, I'd like to remind everyone to go and join my Discord server, which will be linked below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, remember to comment and like and even consider subscribing. This is King Christo signing off, and peace out, everybody.